hear the call to adventure, climb aboard or walk the plank. On the high seas, only those with the strength and spirit can survive. What mysteries lie beneath the waves? Treasure? Glory? Time to raise anchor and set sail. These are the tales of the White Springs Revenge.
Captain Marshall, you receive a letter from the governor, and in it he speaks about ship movement. Dear Marshal Whitmore, Admiral Graveslammer's forces have moved positions into the waters around your cove. With the dispatching of Captain Gallows, it seems that Prince Gloomis is trying to use his navy to tighten his grip on the islands. You should expect to see naval ships in your waters and harassing our trade routes. He's also increased the taxes he's levied against my island, making it difficult for my people to make a fair wage. We're going to need to do something soon about the navy. Eventually, they will starve out Maylock. And we have nowhere else to go. So he also includes some sea charts that show ships coming from the other side of the island and converging in the waters between Maylock and White Springs, which includes your cluster of islands.
I read this letter and I look over to Mr. Whitcomb and I say, "Hi, Mr. Whitcomb. What do you know about mines? Not the kind of mine that you mine rocks in, but the kind of the mine that goes kaboom."
I'm not a specialist in kaboom, sir, but we have made Molotovs and cannons fire, so with some time we could probably figure it out.
Kaboom.
I pull out of my pocket. I'm just carrying around a chunk of lightning stone, and I pull out a little bit of gunpowder and I pour it on the lightning stone to ignite it and go, "Take all the gunpowder we have and rig up a device with this magic stone.
I'll get on it right away."
We need sea mines, underwater sea mines. I don't think they've been invented yet, but I know you're up for the task."
He's going to start working on that then for you. Why don't you roll charisma? Give me some kind of roll to work from.
13.
Okay, so he's working diligence. He's thinking really hard.
I'm going to show Captain Whitmore the new power that I have.
"Elo, back from your fishing trip with Bori, are ye? About time you returned. Look what I found." And I show him the magic rocks that we now have a mine. What do you think of this?
I grab a piece and I taste it.
It arcs on your tongue like putting your tongue to a knife.
Good magic. I learned a little something while we were on our fishing trip. Yeah, I use this one on Bori. I'm going to tell Jeb. I'm going to use my command on Jeb.
What do you say to Jeb?
Actually, I'm going to grab the captain and I'm going to pull him back a little bit. I'm back to the dice the dice roller on my phone. 9. So I only get to choose 2. So I'll choose. It doesn't overwhelm me because we don't need that. And the hearer doesn't realize that I forced their hand. So the hearer's not even going to realize what I'm saying.
What do you indicate as the target? Like him?
I'm going to leave it more up to you to interpret, but the wording of it that I found in my studies or whatever is fuck that.
What are you trying to point at?
The nearest person to him that's not us.
So he stops what he's doing and he turns to the quartermaster and he just jumps on top of him and then just starts righteously dry humping him, 2 hands on his shoulders, just thrusting hard. You can hear the friction of their clothes. And the quartermaster is like, "What the?" And he's trying to smash him in the face, but he's also being humped into the ground. And the crew that happens to be around are just think this is the funniest thing they've ever seen and are just cackling, laughing. Some of them are falling over in tears. And after a while, the effect fades and he stops and gets embarrassed. And Jeb gets up and leaves, walks away from him.
"Hey, what did you do to the poor lad?"
You saw.
I did see, and I'm confused.
Oh, well, we didn't say that I did the ancient language. Wah, wah, wah.
Presumably, yeah, you heard
you heard the wah, 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 wah. I made the quartermaster irresistible to him.
You know what? I think we need to write a bond right now. And I say, "Elo, you have to promise me you never use that crazy voice magic on me." me. All right. Elos Pilo's voice power is unnerving to me.
Promise that I won't use it on you.
Or any of me, men.
No, I just walk away after I say, "Are you?"
So you guys still have downtime. Then we're going to cut to a ship. Warren, you're on the deck of the ship. You've been displaced from wherever you lived on these islands, probably as a mage studying his magics, maybe as a part of a wandering oddities, who knows? But Prince Gloomus came to town and fucked everything up. Anything of any significant magic, he snatched and has been hoarding. So you hate this guy, being a free spirit as well, someone who does not respect a significant authority. That was part of the joy of the islands. They were just all locally governed. So you've been kind of pushed off the main island for fear of being captured or tortured or whatever the Prince Gloomus is doing with mages. You hear tales. You're riding on these ships and you hear these stories from the bards about a man named Captain Whitmore who is actively fighting Prince Gloomus. And these stories are fantastical, but they all seem to be rooted in some truth. The bards sing verses of him winning battles against other pirate captains and winning battles against Prince Gloomus's admirals and collecting relics to fight Prince Gloomus. Something about fucking an eel. You're not sure what that one's about. There's also been a change in the weather the last month. It is like usually relatively temperate around these islands. And it has been pouring rain for a month straight, maybe more now. But you haven't seen the sun in that time. And everything is wet. And most places you go, that's made people pretty cranky and miserable. Today, you do find yourself on this ship headed to what people are calling Whitmore Cove, where apparently this Captain Whitmore, who hates this Prince Gloomus, who you would love to see removed from power, apparently lives. And you dock to this island. This cove has been built up. It was clearly like a deserted island that somebody had a cottage on, and they have built up some stonework defenses with some cannons, and there is like a market on the beachhead. And further back into the island, you can see smoke rising from what must be like a more inland settlement that is being developed. There are merchant ships coming in and out of here now pretty regularly. A lot of trade of mangoes, as well as building materials like stone and wood and whatever other things. You start to see trinkets as well are being sold, unusual underwater civilizations. And you find yourself on the pier in the pouring rain, and you look out amongst the people, and you clearly see one man who likes to blow his whistle and speak his voice loud, ordering people around, who fits the description.
I am going to hobble over to him with my staff and say, Sir, are you Captain Whitmore by chance?
I am Captain Whitmore, and this be me Cove. Who are you who has the absolute pleasure of greeting the one, the only Captain Marshall Whitmore of the White Springs Revenge?
I'm gonna start singing
Defeater of
the song
Admiral
in the background.
Killer of Charles Dunn, Giant Lizard Slayer.
Yeah, all those titles and more. I've heard so much about you. Are you really going to take on Prince Gloomus?
A curse on his name. I know no other soul who is more worthy of death than the dastardly Prince Gloomus.
I agree. He kicked me out of my library.
Yes, he has commandeered all of my family's land and has run amok upon this great continent we call White Spring.
So, I want in. How?
Everyone in Whitmore Cove pulls their own weight. What do ye have to offer to the table?
Well, I don't have any of my magic books anymore, but I do have some other books, if you know what I mean.
I don't.
I look at him and I start winking, and I'm like, I know what you mean. Well, I've been to a few ports in the South. They got those good books. Yeah. All right. And then I just like go back. I like lean back.
I walk over to Captain Marshall Whitmore and I open one of my books for him. It's my own personal work. What do you think?
Oh my.
You need to work on your shading.
And how is something such as this going to help us defeat Prince Gloomus? Sources, you need to cite your sources. There are plenty of spies running around these lands these days. You never know who could be working for the prince. You've got spirits, but you don't really seem like you're ready for a fight.
Wait, is your character like an old man?
I'm like a pretty wrinkled old man. You can tell I have a staff and mage's robes, and I look magical. I can do this. I use my want to see a trick, and I make some mangoes float in the air, and I say, I can do this, but a lot more.
I'm gonna go up to Captain Whitmore and like give him a little elbow in the side. I'm like, I like this guy.
Before Elo Pilo came and nudged me on the ribs, there's dead silence. The raindrops hitting the ocean are just penetrating.
In that case, I noticed like the look on his face. Okay. I got this. And I'm going to try to alter reality and create like a dome of no rain around us.
Okay,
like,
roll intelligence.
Is an 11.
And we'll take area of effect and transmute.
Yeah.
Maybe you change the sand into a magical dome above you that protects the rain from falling on you and Pilo and Marshall Whitmore. This does seem a little bit more impressive.
Ah, sweet relief. And I take off my hat and I wring it out.
Let me help you with that. And I want to dry all of his clothes instantly.
Okay, yeah. You like suck the water off his
I look over at Elo and I raise an eyebrow. Yeah. All right, old wizard, we may have a place for you on our ship. Acquaint yourself with the crew. Find yourself a position and be ready to make way at any time.
Roger that, Captain.
You're a pirate now. And a brush up on the tales of the White Springs Revenge. We've rewritten a few verses.
Captain Fucker.
Captain Ilfucker.
I pull my sword to his throat. Don't you dare be disrespecting my husband ever again.
My bad.
He gets very upset when people talk about his husband.
Yeah, you don't talk about his husband, dude.
I don't know how that eel fucker one got in, but it's sure stuck.
For the record, they never fucked. They're just married. Never consummated the marriage.
Got it. I don't have any magic for that. Do you have magic for that?
I know magic here, but you can take ye one of these, and I toss him our magic stuff, just like a piece of it, and it's like a crackling electricity.
If you want to know more about magic stones, you can do this move called Spout Lore, which is an intelligence roll. It's a +1 on Spout Lore on a subject nobody knows anything about, but Captain Whitmore has been studying the stone.
3.
Yeah, mark experience. You get an experience point. You failed.
Whoa.
You are fucking with this magic stone, and you make the mistake of trying to pump some of your magical fluid, and it explodes in your face like a hand grenade, an electrical pulse of energy, and you're going to take 4 damage. But you have magical ward, so you get 2 armor against magical effects, so you only take 2 damage. And you guys see this. He floats it for a second in front of him, and then it goes and shatters and immediately he drops the spell that was keeping back the rain, and the rain starts.
I start laughing and clapping because I think that it's like all part of his joke.
Haha, good one, Warren.
Thanks. I'll just get the rest of this put away. And I use a gust of wind to bring all the exploded rock back in and like try to piece it together.
As you gather the rock, you realize it has lost its magical properties when it expelled.
We got more, and I just pound the top of a crate that I'm standing next to, and it opens up, and all of these just magic rocks just pour out onto the pier.
I'm 100% trying to find some squirrels or something I can use for a ritual.
All right, then you need to roll for poking around in the woods, which I'm going to say is probably a wisdom.
How big does it have to be?
It says the size of a cat or larger.
Just go find some stray cats, dude. Just put it like just get fish and big little cat trap.
I'll make a little cat trap.
We're headlong for cat murder.
I'm definitely keeping an eye out for some cats around.
About that time, you guys are thinking about cats, that one of your men calls out and says, Captain, we got a problem. And
if it be more rain, I can't help you.
You can see he is looking out to sea with his spyglass, and he gestures for you to come join him on the dock.
What is it now?
And he hands you the spyglass, and he says, it's hard to see in the rain, Captain, but if you look out there, I'm pretty sure there's Imperial ships. And as you look through the spyglass, you can see the silhouette of like 3 vessels, and they are sort of lined up outside the mouth of the cove.
All right, I'm going to discern realities about that. And what is about to happen?
You're pretty sure that they're setting up, they figured out where your cove is by following the trade, and they're setting up a blockade.
It's not an assault, it's more of a blockade.
Yeah, you think that this is, at the moment, they are probably looking at a starve out strategy, put some pressure on without risking their assets first and see what happens. You don't know how long that will last.
What happened here recently? Like, what is the state of port since last time?
So I think with Captain Gallows gone, more trade is increased in general, like in all the waters. So you've probably had more ships, and then all of a sudden the Imperial ships just tripled in these neighborhoods, and they quickly followed the trade routes. And they are now clearly making some kind of move.
What should I be on the lookout for?
It was reported that Graveslammer's capital ship, giant vessel, which you guys did leave port from White Spring within the last 2 days, and its location has not been determined.
I turn to my men and spread word around town that we're under siege by the forces of Prince Gloomus, and to be ready for an attack. Be nonchalant about it. Don't start causing a fuss. We don't want them to think we're panicking.
Aye, Captain. And he goes, and like your retainers all kind of disperse and start pulling over like the captains of the ships that are there and shop owners and having quiet conversations with them.
Mr. Whitacombe, where are we on those underwater mines?
He rolled well. He presents you with a prototype. I believe this will work, Captain, if you can get something to hit the stone hard enough. And he points to the stone that's sort of mounted at one end of the barrel. It should trigger the powder to explode. He's like sealed the barrel with tar to try to make it waterproof.
What?
I send a small crew to place the mine out in the middle of the bay.
Like at the mouth or
Yeah.
like in the middle of the water.
Like in the middle of the water.
They take the prototype out and float it. And Whitacombe says, I'll get crew on making more.
I be quick about it and be ready. And I put my hand on Mr. Whitacombe. Like, we've been living our lives up to this moment.
Aye, Captain, it seems you finally made big enough a name for yourself that they couldn't ignore you any further.
I mean, who would want to ignore me? I mean, I'm pretty great, don't you think?
Yes.
I know I can always count on you, Mr. Whitacombe. I really hope nothing bad ever happens to you.
Oh, probably gonna die in the next episode now.
Captain,
Yes, Mr. Pilo.
I have a suggestion. We still have those 2 balls, right? Just to breathe underwater.
Or do.
What if we make like a bomb to stick to one of the bottom of the ship? We'll sneak up out at night. We'll just go underwater, place them at the bottom.
The gallows play. Not a bad idea.
Silent attack. Take them out.
I'll liquidate my assets
Whoa.
and get 6 barrels of gunpowder to make bombs. So like 2 bombs for each.
Just like you guys did before in fighting Gallows. So let's figure out what ships are here. Obviously, the White Springs Revenge is here because but the other ships come and go to trade all the time.
The Stony is here because we just opened up a new mine. So we've been loading fresh product. And then maybe the mango can be... I probably sent them on a mission to get more mangoes to Malok because the governor said he was being starved.
And then there's probably like another 2 ships here that aren't yours, that are other traders or something. Maybe a small fishing vessel that does trade at your port, and then something else.
Yeah, so everybody knows what's going on. Say, Warren, what would a wizard do about 3 ships worth of a fleet knocking at his doorstep?
Well, I see you got some bombs here, but not a lot. Let's see what I can do about that. And I want to try to alter reality, doing a creating and shaping to create duplicates and more bombs.
Like just out of the sand of the beach or something.
Yeah.
Don't nuke my stronghold.
10.
So you can pick 2 tags or 3 tags in a complication. But you probably need transmute.
Transmute and then creating. Rub my hands together above my head and I say, I really need my spellbook for these things. Duplicate is bomb. Sand just like slowly builds up into fills into more crates that are empty nearby and turns into explosives.
So let's do a little roll to see how many you. Okay, you made 2 more bombs. So you guys have 8. So word has gotten around town. Some of your men have started to sort of gear themselves up. They're making sure ships are ready to go, cannonballs are in place, powder kegs are dry, and there is this air of uneasiness on the island, the pending conflict. What do you guys want to do?
Aye, Mr. Pilo, if they intend to bring the fight to us, I say we turn the tables and bring the fight to them. That's you, me, Warren, and me men.
So what kind of magic can Warren do?
I can maybe create
Cloak
some sort
us or
of
something?
wave.
Is there any way you can cloak us, our ship?
I could create a large fog and get us so they can't see us leaving out.
And then we can go and plant those bombs.
We can get those out there.
What do you say, Captain? We're
I
saying
wanna do?
make some fog, go out there, go underwater, plant the bombs, go away, let the bombs explode. They all die.
Whatever you say, Captain. You're the infamous planner. All the tales are about you. Show me what you got.
Now there's
Sing the song.
pressure. He's frozen. He doesn't know what to do. He's feeling the entire weight of his little colony on his shoulders. Sounds like a plan.
Got it.
I'm gonna go to the captain of the small fishing vessel, because I'm not using my own. The Cove requires the use of your vessel. You got any insurance policies on your ship?
No.
Okay,
Sir?
thanks. Bye. The Cove thanks you for your service.
I assume you'll fix anything that gets broken, right?
Sure, it'll be good as new, better than you left it. I
Oh.
promise, as my oath to protect the people of these lands, that I will return you with
Roll your chaw.
a ship or better. Something of equal quality.
Or less.
12.
All right. And him and his small fishing crew of like 5 guys get off his boat.
And he just
This boat-
sees my men start loading up crates and barrels of gunpowder. Everything's gonna be fine. Spick and span, don't you worry.
He looks nervously at his first mate, who just shrugs. We can't really. You fill up this small fishing vessel with the explosives and a few men to crew it. And I assume we're waiting for nightfall since we're doing a stealth mission. Tell me what other things we do before we set sail.
I want to tell the crew of the Stody Baloney to stay far back out of their cannon range and just patrol the harbor back and forth to be ready to attack, but also as something that they can focus on in front of the mine. So as they are fired upon, they will start moving farther back into the harbor and drawing in other ships towards the mine.
Okay, so you want them to come out a little bit but stay towards the back of the harbor.
And then I'm going to place that crystal parrot that I have. I'm going to leave that on the pier just so I can get some discerned realities about my homestead if it becomes under attack.
Okay, you're gonna set that on the pier.
And then tell the women and children to retreat at
You send everybody inland.
Whitmore Plaza.
Whitmore Plaza.
Yeah, everybody gather in the courtyard at Whitmore Plaza.
Free ice cream for everyone.
There's nothing to worry about.
Hand out some mangoes. Tell everybody it's going to be okay. Stay away from the beach.
And arm all the fighting men.
Do you give orders to the crew of the White Springs Revenge?
Oh yeah. They're just gonna stay at the pier and guard the coast.
So they're ready to go, but they're staying docked.
And if you hear my whistle, men, that means you need to come to my aid.
We'll be there, Captain. Godspeed. God's speeds?
I have two. Well, I guess I have one resource of lightning stone, and I want to break that up onto the shoreline as a defense. So, like, if someone stepped on it, they would get a little shock.
You're going to spend that whole resource doing that. It's all gone, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of beach to cover.
Yeah. And then, as much as we can, I'll spend like 2 stone and 2 wood to just reinforce, make another barricade wall. Like, we have the initial barricade wall, and then maybe we could build another behind.
Yeah, like a crude one where it's just kind of piled rocks with some wood supports.
Yeah.
You guys have time. So you spend the rest of the day preparing that.
Okay.
Do you have other stuff?
No, I'm done.
You have the flying machine and the Molotov cocktails. Put
So-
that on a boat or give that to somebody or...
That's for a mission to save that.
Okay. What about Warren or Pilo? Are you doing anything in preparation for this stealth mission?
I am catching a cat.
Roll wisdom, unless you can convince me you're doing it with intelligence, which you might want to try to do.
I'm going to use my knowledge of cats and their love of fish, and I'm going to make a little trap using a net, and it's gonna just, once the cat goes for the fish, it's just gonna.
Okay, roll intelligence.
10.
Nice. So you catch yourself a cat. You see the wizard bring this cat aboard the shipping.
Well, once we got out to sea, like it can't go anywhere. You could let it out of the cage.
Yeah, but you need it where you need it when you're doing the ritual. Are you doing anything else, Warren, in preparation? So you guys board the fishing vessel as the sun sets. Push off from the dock and start to head down the stretch of water that will eventually open up to the ocean at the end of the cove. We're casting a spell now.
Before we come around the
It is
cliffside,
raining too, so that's some coverage. And it's
Yeah.
night.
as we come around the cliffside, I'm gonna try going for shaping and messy to create a fog out of the raindrops around
I
us.
think you definitely need area of effect.
All right, let's roll. So 11.
Something that this class doesn't have that I am going to impose on you from the other spellcasting classes is that to keep this effect ongoing,
Mhm.
you're going to take a -1 to casting anything else as long as you were actively focusing on maintaining a fog around it. And with an 11, you reach out to the water, to the rain, and you start to split the water, the drops in halves, into quarters, into eighths, into sixteenths until they are so fine that they don't fall towards the earth. They float on the evening winds and create a misty fog that settles all around the ship. And you guys creep your way slowly out in the cloak of fog to the mouth of the bay. Your goal here is to creep up to a ship. Then I'm going to need probably Captain Whitmore to make a crew roll to do a stealthy little bit of ship piloting. But I'll give you a +1 because he is making an excellent fog.
Goody.
Wait, let me aid. Ooh, I failed the aid.
Ooh, mark experience.
I got a 9.
So you guys got a mixed result, and there was a fail on that support. So I think you guys creep up to the first ship unnoticed, and you start to get close to the ship, and the water out here beyond the bay is a lot choppier. And though you're holding the fog and mist like around the ship, it's getting pushed up by the roll of the waves, and it starts to seep up high enough that if you were on the deck of one ship, you can see the other ship. And for a moment, it opens up and your crew looks over at that crew and then try to pull the fog back in.
Because we specifically came over here in a fishing ship.
So your deck is actually quite a bit lower. Let's make it a chance roll. Odds or evens?
Odds.
Oh yeah, here we go.
I'm going to roll an 8. Somebody was taking a pee out the side of one of the cannon ports and sees a fishing boat appear next to him in the fog for a moment and then get swallowed up by the fog again. What do you guys want to do?
I think they saw us.
I think we're good.
I go, ooh.
I joined
Okay.
in.
Yeah, roll charisma as your retainers also join. If you're joining in, you can roll aid.
Double 6s.
Never mind. Yeah, that person is scared as shit, goes to some other part of the ship and whispers to themselves to try to calm themselves down.
And as we're doing that, we drop off the first couple barrels of gunpowder.
Okay, so who wants to do that? I think kind of lowering them into the water. Let's make some strength for attaching bombs. Who's going to do that?
I'll do it. I'm pretty strong.
I'll aid you.
Oh wait, I'm not that strong.
How strong are you? I have a +1.
I have a +1 as well.
Then you aid me.
Okay.
We'll do it together. Got a 9.
So I got a 9 for the aid, so it's a plus.
Woo.
So
That
it's
makes it a 10.
+2.
Cool.
So I'll make you
So,
11.
so Pilo and Marshall's retainers jump in and lower how many bombs on this ship?
2.
So yeah, just 2.
You guys place 2 on this ship and push off quietly in the night on your little fishing and turn towards the next ship. So you get control of the fog and the ocean around you, and you're maintaining this spell, and you guys creep up to the next ship and lower 2 more bombs, I assume. Strength and aid.
Yeah.
I love that you guys are using the aid a lot. I feel like a lot of teamwork.
Teamwork.
I got a 10.
Okay, I got 9 total.
Oh, even with my +2?
Yeah.
All right. Well, what happens?
So a
Cody?
mixed result. One of the bombs just falls in the water. Do you want to try to spend another one to attach 2 here?
We got 8 altogether,
roll?
right? Do you want to try it again?
I'll try it again. I rolled a
7.
10.
I got a
Okay.
7.
So you guys get 2 in place, lose 1. So you
Okay.
spent 5,
And we still have 3 left.
and there's another boat.
Wow.
So you sneak up very effectively to this ship. You want to try to attach 2 more bombs to this ship?
It's going pretty well so far.
Let's see if you jinxed it.
I got it. 8.
I love tempting fate. 10.
Yeah, full success. This is probably a question I should ask sooner. How do we detonate them?
As you're attaching the last bomb, I'm going to spend an adventuring gear to pull out a spool of wire, metal wire, and pull out this coral rock. It looks like it has 2 slits in it that looks like it's the perfect receptacle for slices of bread.
Delicious.
And I pull out my underwater toaster and a spool of wire, and I'm going to take one of the Atlantis balls, and I want to eat it, and then I'm going to swim underneath the ships, connecting all the gunpowder with wire, and a little electric stone detonator. Captain Whitmore has been locked in his room for several weeks studying this magic stone, and he's been having ethereal experiences and has figured out how electricity works.
He's learned a lot, apparently.
Talking about Lightning World.
Yeah, dude, Lightning World's alive.
Okay, so to do all of this, I'm going to need you to roll like an intelligence roll, like to represent you tinkering to build a thing previously.
9.
Okay, you have preparations you can spend. Don't forget you have.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The captain is talking to his crew. We did good work here, men, but now it's time to show you what this captain is really made of. And just backs off the head of the ship as he's eating the water-breathing ball.
Okay, roll Constitution. Well, those are his retainers. They left him no matter what.
10.
You begin to aspirate water, and it is comfortable. You're able to get comfortable with it. After your extreme pressure experience at Atlantis, it seems much easier to breathe this water than it did the last. So you swim under the boats. Should I make you roll again for rigging up the explosion 3 times?
Once you do it once, you know how to do it.
Okay. Let's fine. Fair deal. We'll make it once. So you got to roll to properly figure out how to attach your.
Intelligence?
Yeah. You have one more preparation of it.
Don't need it because I rolled 2 6s.
Oh,
baby.
All right. You wire up and then you swim back to the ship. Get back on board. So you guys see this. You guys see the captain like giving some hype up speech to his boys, and he does this back dive off the ship, and you 2 are left on the deck for a few minutes, and then you hear him slosh out of the water and climb up a rope on the other side of the ship,
Carrying his underwater toaster with wires.
Yeah, there's just wires like hanging off him out into the ocean.
Yeah, and I present it to Warren and say, "You think you can hit this at a distance?"
Yeah.
I toss it over my shoulder into the water and then, "Let's move."
Okay, so you guys pull away from your detonation target, the toaster.
I've been carrying it around for like 3 sessions. Legitimately, with weight and everything.
Really? Where did you get the underwater toaster?
You gave it to me in Atlantis.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because it was a wedding gift?
Yeah, it was a wedding gift.
It was a wedding gift. That's so stupid. I'm going to want you to maintain the spell as I'm going to have you roll it again.
Double ones.
Mark experience. You are trying to maintain the mist, and the sea is choppy here, and a wave comes over the deck of this small boat and just hits you in the face, and it just breaks your concentration, and the mist just falls, droplets of rain, and even though it's raining, you're still pretty close to one of these boats, and you are clearly spotted. Now, what do you guys want to do? Well, the ship is going forward. These ships are probably going to react to your presence if you want to react.
Then let's just light this shit.
Okay, you're close enough that you're not sure if you're a safe distance away or not. You can
Roll
do
a
it.
chance.
Let's do it.
Yeah, Captain Whitmore had turned his back to the ship and was looking towards the direction of home, thinking, "I did the thing. This is gonna work. We're doing great." As he doesn't notice that the fog is disappearing in front of him.
Yeah, so I'm just going to scream, "Light it!" to Warren. He's going to hit it with lightning or something, or what?
Okay. Hey! And then I just point my finger over towards the underwater toaster.
Roll alter reality.
Let me aid. Let me aid. Let me aid. Let me
Okay.
aid. Let me aid.
Like you're pointing at it. You're trying to point it out to him.
It's right there, man. Can you see it? It's right there.
He's giving the classic, fire it right now, do it right now. We need to fire the gun right now, right?
You send out a bolt of energy that sparks at the pad and arcs through the wires that the captain made. And there are 3 simultaneous explosions, one of which is pretty close to your ship and throws shrapnel on the deck of your small fishing vessel. So everyone needs to roll Defy Danger.
I'm gonna roll out of the way. I got an 11.
I'm standing on the fishing boat and I am not paying attention, so I'm gonna roll con and take all that shrapnel to like the
You're
back
just
of my
trying to
head.
tank it?
It's just trying to
Okay.
I'm kind of old and decrepit, so my legs don't work. So the rocking of from the bomb exploding knocks me over. So I'm like just fall on my back. Unintentional dexterity. A 9.
I also rolled a 9.
You guys are going to take some damage from 4 damage. So you get pelted by burning chunks of wood and nail and crewman
Bones.
chunk.
Yeah.
Bones. Chaos is thrown on each one of these ships to the point that they are not quite able to effectively chase you. And you guys slink your way back to the other end of it.
I blow my whistle for the White Springs Revenge to meet us halfway.
Okay.
And since the Stony Baloney is already out immobilized, I want to jump the fishing ship and get on the White Springs Revenge.
Okay. Are you all getting on the White Springs then? Or you want to put some of them on the Bologna?
We'll jump on the Baloney when we sink the White Springs Revenge.
You switch ships and come back out to 3 ships that are on fire at different levels of taking on water. What is your intention? Fire on them?
Say, Warren, do you have some way to make me even grander?
I think I got something.
I do not think I can shout above this rain.
And I want to make him twice as big and his voice super booming, shaping to make him larger.
Mhm.
And then I'm
Creating, like you're summoning voice amplification.
I'm gonna roll this charisma. 15.
Which
Behind him, I'm gonna start singing the song of our greatness just to pump him up. And I'm just like, killed this guy. He was real dead.
It's playing me in as my intro.
Get the whole
Language.
crew to start singing it.
You have just experienced the might and power of Captain Marshall Whitmore. All ye who wish to surrender, do so now. Otherwise, face your demise.
and I shoot off little lightning bolts from the boat.
All right, Captain, we gave him their chance. Let's finish him.
I want to pull out my spyglass and try to discern realities to see if men are abandoning ship and coming to our side or if they're all just kind of staying put.
Yeah.
10.
There are definitely people who are abandoning ships because 2 bombs punched holes, and it looks like all these ships are destined to sink. So there's people in the water, and you know how that works. Once you start pulling sailors out of the water, it's pretty easy to push them into service.
So I would start trolling the water and picking up a recruit.
So as you are doing that, the 2 ships swinging along the other crash boats and start pulling in men and like yelling at them. And if they're giving you shit, you just throw them back into the water. It's a moment before you notice looming out in the water between the islands and heading your direction a silhouette of a vessel that is unrealistically big. And it is unnerving because you know exactly what ship that is. You see it heading your direction and you retreat back into the cove.
Last chance to hop aboard or your demise at the hand of Captain Whitmore is upon you. For there be the puny ship of the Admiral Graveslammer. You think he's compensating for something? Look at my ship. I need to compensate for nothing.
At the sight of his ship, many of the men swim towards that ship to be in line with it as it comes in.
I look at the guys that we've picked up and, well, would you rather be over there than over here?
Roll charisma.
13.
You see some of the men like definitely have the thought of yes, but then are afraid they'll get killed or something. So they all stay.
Captain Whitmore doesn't really slaughter people. But he was gonna do that because it's gotta
Wait.
keep up appearances. Heading back, and as we're passing by my underwater mine, I want to dump the one gunpowder that we have left.
Gonna give it a pat. Wanna enchant it with some armor piercing. That is a 10.
You magically enhance the shrapnel that's inside to be particularly strong and sharp.
And yeah, forceful and armor piercing.
I like it a lot.
So you retreat back into the cove, and this massive ship gets to the mouth of the cove and starts to press its way. And you can see it because it fills up basically the entire area of water. It feels like at the tightest spot, it barely squeezes through. And it is slow, but it is daunting. It sits like above your beach, like you're looking up to it as it comes in, almost like a floating castle. Atop this floating castle, standing at the front of it, you can see Admiral Graveslammer. He clearly wants you to see. You've seen him once before. He is a mountain of a man, half giant, blood running through his huge, 7 feet tall or so, maybe more. And he has slung over his back an anchor tied to a chain that wraps around his body. And he is quite an intimidating sight. And you hear him bellow out as he gets closer and closer towards the end of the cove where your encampment is. Captain Whitmore, I have come for you.
I'm standing on the beach and I'm waving at him.
That bomb explodes. They can't dodge it. They cannot dodge it. It explodes.
Yeah.
And it does take a chunk out of the ship, but the ship is so big it doesn't seem to be sinking, or at least not yet. You can't quite tell, but you do hear it explode.
As the electric bomb goes off, you see a bunch of fish just float up to the top. We have mortars on the White Springs Revenge now.
Because I think we could utilize the airplane thing because it's like they don't have anything to.
So who's doing what?
Well, I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to accept the consequences of my action. Now that there's a new hole in the front of the Graveslammer ship, I'm going to swim over to it and take him out from the rest of the ship.
I'm just gonna straight up try to Titanic it and create icebergs in front of it. I'm gonna try to stop it. I don't want it to get any further to the cove, so I'm going to try to create big icebergs to stop it from moving. 11.
So you start to make the end of the cove water start to freeze over, and the ice reaches out and grabs onto the front of the Admiral's ship, and you hear the ice crunching as the weight of the ship starts to push into it. But the ice keeps reaching further down, and eventually the ship is brought to a halt.
Oh, well, this changes things. I'm going to take me and my men and get on a little dinghy and make my way to an ice sheet, and we're just going to walk on where the big explosion.
Okay, so you get over to the hull and climb into the lower bowels of this massive ship. So it is a very large ship that you'll have to negotiate through. Are you trying to be stealthy? Are you going in there sword swinging?
Stealthy at first until we get caught.
Okay, so why don't you roll dexterity? And then Mr. Pilo, tell me what's going on once you get your hands on that flying.
I rolled
What
an
do I
8.
need to fly it?
You're gonna roll dexterity to fly it.
All right, let's do this. So I'm going to jump in this flying contraption. Got me a 10.
You've activated and you feel the gust of wind and you angle the wings appropriately and you lift into the air and fly out over the cove. You can see Whitmore and his men crawling into the side of the ship, and you can see the Admiral in all his glory as he looks up at you flying above his ship. What are you doing? You're going to roll Molotov? Roll a volley?
That is a 9. Yeah, I mean for the Admiral.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to
The
hit
helm
the ship
or the-
too if you aim for him, but I didn't know if you were like, you drop this, it comes falling down, and he pulls up his anchor to block himself at the last minute, and it shatters and fire pours all around him down onto the deck of the ship. So he's going to take some burninating damage. Why don't you roll your damage die?
4.
So he takes some burn damages. He is now lit on fire. Captain, as you're going through the bowels of the ship, you are able to sneak up on a few men and easily take them out, but you are starting to make a bit of a commotion. I think I want you to give me a journey style roll that of defy danger, like it doesn't have to be wisdom, to like explain to me how you move through the ship to try to get where you're going and what's your goal? To get up to the top deck?
To get to the gun deck.
To the gun deck. Okay. So you were partly successful with stealth. If you could continue being stealthy.
Yeah, stealthy. Oh no.
Oh no.
3.
Oh no.
Okay, someone's pistol goes off, and crewmen in this massive ship. These rooms have multiple doorways and hallways. It's just so much bigger than you're used to being in, and crewmen just start popping out of everywhere. And your ship turns into a big melee. So now you and your men have to fight your way anywhere around. What about Warren? What are you doing?
After I stopped the ship and saw him take his crew into the ship through the hole, I would have grabbed my cat cage and tried to run in with him. So I'm kind of following a little bit behind, so I'm not there yet, but I would be kind of showing up soon.
So yes, you get inside the hole and you can hear the commotion of the fight that is happening several rooms deeper into the ship, and you know that that's probably him.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you want to do?
Wait, does it have to be an animal? Can you use people? Can you just kill someone and use?
I mean, it
the
says when you sacrifice something cat-sized or larger.
Oh shit!
That's anything.
But I got my cat, so I'm ready. Shoot. Well, it specifically says it has to be used to fuel dark magic. So I'm trying to think of.
I mean, anything can be dark.
Yeah.
Do you like a fire that can't be put out?
Oh, there was an enchanter ability. You were talking about enchanting stuff with the ritual skill. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
Which move is Murder Cat?
Power
of Love.
Powerful.
Well, when I get over to the commotion, I want to empower I want to empower the captain because I'm still going off of his last command he gave me to make him more grand.
Oh yeah, is he still huge?
So I want to sacrifice the cat and give him some sort of ghost or dark magic powers. Or maybe just get a horde of ghosts to
Oh shit!
summon scare the enemies, the enemy crew.
Okay, yeah,
or
you
give
could,
the appearance of bolstering my forces.
yeah,
Yeah,
you could make it. You could try to scare them off.
yeah. I want to do something to make the enemy or our crew look more scary towards the enemy.
There is manipulate where you twist thoughts.
Yeah, that's
So I
so.
think maybe that's it. Maybe you're pulling at their minds in some way.
Yeah.
And
So
that's definitely dark magic.
okay, so we'll do that. So we're gonna do the +1 on the alter reality. We're gonna make it so that our crew is scary to the enemy crew. Ooh, it's a good thing we got that +1. I think it's enough still for 7.
So on a mixed result, you get 3 tags because of your archmage, but you have to pick one of these complications. So read those 4 and figure out which one you want.
I'll say because we're going dark, I'll take the 1d4 damage. I'm using some of my life energy to pour into this spell.
I got a 2. You take 2 damage. So you reach out with dark magic and you siphon the life energy out of the cat and a little bit of your own life energy into making a powerful spell. And in the minds of everyone in that room that isn't one of Whitmore or his men, they perceive their enemies as monstrous and terrifying. And everyone retreats from that room kind of very suddenly. Like, Marshall, you're in a sword fight, and then suddenly this guy freaks out, and so do the men next to him. They all run back into the room they came out of. Pilo, you are being shot at by his men. He yells, "Muskets! Bring that down now!"
That's a 7.
You can either position yourself so you take the damage, or you can position it so that the craft takes the damage.
I'll take it. I'll take the damage. I'm good right now.
Musket fire at you. 4. So you feel one hits you in the gut, and you feel the ball sink into your flesh a little.
That got me.
What do you do? It's your turn too.
I am gonna go. So I swooped in to hit the captain at wherever the helm is, wherever the front of the where he's at.
Yeah, he was standing at the bow. Yeah.
Bam, hit him. I went back up, and I'm going for the main sail.
Okay, that's a good idea. Roll a volley roll.
That is going to be an 11.
Nice. So you throw out another bottle and it floats through the air towards the mainsail and smashes against the mat under the sheet, and the fire explodes out, and the whole sail is almost instantly aflame. And a big ship like this without its mainsail is not going anywhere fast at all. It does burn for a while, but because of the rain, the continued flame is a little limp. Captain Whitmore, your opponents have fled this room, and your wizard friend has caught back up to you. What do you want to do?
I want to look for some spare uniforms to stealth their way more.
Roll
reality.
wisdom?
11.
So you find some spare uniform,
Yeah, I'm going to dress up my retainers.
like Navymen.
And then I still just want to head up to the gun deck.
You guys are pushing to the gun deck. Now you doing it with charisma now? Like you're blending in with the crew?
Yeah.
Hey, say, guys, remember that time we were on the beach of Prismont and the Admiral just kind of left us on the beach while we were fighting? What's up with that?
I rolled a 10.
He left us to die, and Captain Whitmore's men overtook us easily. What kind of commander is he?
You guys slip past the men talking shit on Graveslammer and work your way to the gun deck. What are you doing as you see his men change outfits and start to blend with the crew? What are you going to do?
I'm a wizard. I'm not very familiar with ships, so I'm going to be sticking with him.
You're maybe a little conspicuous.
Let's do an alter reality to.
You're going to basically disguise yourself with magic.
Yeah.
So you do this. You just make yourself look like one of the other crewmen that you pass by.
I almost look like Captain Marshall Whitmore, but with a very comical large nose and mustache, almost like I'm wearing the glasses.
Okay, so you guys make your way from this deck to the nearest gun deck. There are multiple decks with guns in a ship this big, but you find yourself to first primary gun deck. What are your plans now that we're at the gun?
I want to start loosing the cannons, and then maybe me and my crew together, we can just push the cannons out of the cannon hole into the bay.
Make some strength rolls for starting to shove cannons into the bay. And then we'll cut back to Mr. Pilo. You are still taking gunfire, so give me another fight danger roll.
10.
So this time you don't take any of that fire. So you've burnt the mainsail and the Admiral himself. You want to keep throwing bombs?
There's multiple sails, right? I'm just going to keep going down the line and just go to another sail. 7.
7's a mixed result. So do you want to spend an ammo or take one of the other negatives? Do less damage one?
Yeah.
Okay, so roll your damage and then minus the damage. It's a D6, I think.
So I got a 2, and then I got a 6. So -4. I gave him health. It was actually a health potion. It fixes the other sail.
No, I think you toss that one out and it smashes. It like hits one of the masts and smashes, but the wind just pulls it away and the oil burns up in the air and gets wet. And by the time it hits the deck, it's no longer burning. Now, what'd you get on that strength roll?
11.
You guys throw one cannon overboard. It does make a loud splash and it does take some effort. So this is not a stealthy activity and you're definitely going to be attracting attention. What are you doing while he is trying to throw cannons in the water, Warren?
Guess I want to analyze my surroundings and discern realities.
So what question do you want to ask?
Anything of value.
Only thing that might be valuable to him here is probably the ship itself. He has proven himself to be a military mind, and the resource he's used to gain rank is ships, and this is his super ship. So it may hold some value.
Okay.
You're also on a gun deck, so you do notice there are some barrels.
Okay. I'm going to say, Captain, let's get to the controls. He's up on the deck. We can get to the controls and take over the ship.
I lead the way, Warren.
So I guess I'll try to find the wheel.
You're going to try to find your way around the ship. Roll intelligence again.
9.
Okay, mixed result. You guys think you're going in the right direction when you run into somebody and your bell drops off and he's like, wait a second, you're not part of the crew. And he starts to pull a dagger on you.
Captain Whitmore joins in.
Yeah, who is this guy?
Mr. Pilo, you're being shot at. There's now quite a few people on the deck looking up at you, throw shit at them. They are gathered what weapons they can to fire back at you. Roll defy danger.
11. I'm up there like Top Gun and shit, dude. Just like doing spins and dives.
This is now turned into sport. Like men are standing on the deck taking pot shots. Bah! And then another guy gets pissed off and takes the rifle from them and loads it and tries to take his pot shot at you. Bah! I'm going to actually make you roll a second defy danger because there's a lot of guys.
And that is a crit fail.
So you take 4 damage and you hear a snap and you suddenly don't have as much control and you start to lose altitude.
Like I'm losing altitude. I'm trying to pull up a little bit, I guess.
Roll, but you're going to take a -1 to piloting the thing now because it's damaged.
9.
9's a mixed result. So you are controlling it in a way that you think you'll survive your landing, but you don't have a lot of control over where you are landing. So if you had to choose, would you like to crash into the ship or would you try to go for the land or the water? Where would you choose to crash this thing?
Yeah, the ship.
Right on the deck of all those dudes with guns and stuff?
Bring it.
Okay. Odds or even?
Odds.
It's a 4. You try to go for the deck and you overshoot and you fly out behind the ship and crash into the water. Captain Whitmore, you're also doubling down on accusing Warren of being an outsider.
Let's take this trespasser to the Admiral.
Roll charisma.
15. Let's go. These double sixes are hot.
He's the guy that says no more and grabs the old wizard and starts forcing him down the hallway towards the stairs that lead up to the upper decks. And as you guys wander up to the top of the deck, you can see a bunch of men are now at the aft of the ship looking over the edge. And there's one man holding a rifle, gloating about how good of a shot he is. And you see the admiral standing on the deck, stroking his chin, like pondering what the strategy is that is happening. And the man that was with you forces you forward, Warren, towards the admiral and says, "This man is a trespasser, Admiral." Kicks you to the floor.
You don't gotta be so handsy. You can at least buy me dinner first.
And the very large man takes a step towards you and he's looming over you. And he looks down. "You must be one of Whitmore's men, then. Take it?"
That's Captain Whitmore. Thank you.
"Indeed, Captain Whitmore. Where is your cowardice, Captain Whitmore?"
As this is happening, I'm gonna stand in defense of Warren. So I'm gonna up some hold, just in case things go south. Encircling him, kind of pushing out the other crew members
Okay,
and just
so
be
you
like,
look like you're circling in like you're gonna beat the shit up, but really
Yeah.
you make sure it's all your men.
He's Whitmore's little dog, he is.
Why did you roll charisma then?
10.
You put your men in position. What is Pilo doing? You have crashed in the water.
Attempting to swim to the hole in the front, then, I guess.
You could crawl in through a gun port or something.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. That sounds a little easier.
As you start swimming towards the boat, are you doing that trying to be stealthy? So peering over the side of the boat, trying to see where you crash.
Yeah, I'm trying to be stealthy.
So why don't you roll dexterity for a nice quiet swim?
That'll be a 7.
One of them says you can hear him. "Shh, I hear somebody swimming. I can't see him. He's got to be down there somewhere." And they start pulling out their pistols and just start taking pot shots into the water in a general sense. So you're going to need to make a defy danger for me as you swim.
11.
They don't hit you. They are firing behind you. You hear the bullets hit the water, but you do make it over to the side of the ship. The admiral leans really closely and, "We're going to use you to get Captain Whitmore here. There are 2 ways I can do that. One way is you can tell me where he is, inform him where we are, and arrange a meeting. Or we can string you up and torture you until your cries are so great that he must come with his righteous attitude and save you. Which would you like? What do you do, Warren?"
Sounds like he wants to be strung up, Admiral.
Bust out my adventuring gear and I start tying up Warren.
And he kind of looks at you. You can see this moment of he's like trying to recall your face on his crew, but he says, "I believe you're right. We can make him sing for us. Strap him to a mast and start heating an iron."
As I'm tying up Warren, I'm making faces like,
Hey, here's a rope. Do something with the rope. Use the rope.
And with that, I'm going to use my magic on the rope to do shaping and try to wrap up the admiral with it.
Okay.
That is 10, so 13.
Cool. So you animate this rope and it springs out and wraps around the Admiral. He is confused by this. Elo Pilo, roll me some climbing.
6.
So you climb up and you climb in a gun deck window, like shooting hole, in a spot where like a cannon was, but someone had removed it. And there's several men standing there like, where the fuck is this cannon? As you crawl in, and another one looks at you and says, who the fuck are you? And 3 dudes in front of you pull their swords and try to stab at you. Make defy danger rolls for me 3 times.
8, 10 for the second one, and 11 for the third one.
The guy who hits you hits your armor and you don't take any damage. And then you juke the other attack. You are outnumbered. That's clearly going to be the case anywhere on this ship because there are so many crew because of its size. So back on the deck, you've wrapped this rope around the Admiral, and immediately one of his crew member is going to try to step forward and smack you, deck you in the face. Captain Marshall Whitmore, you do have your defense.
I'll direct that
Okay, then roll defy danger.
strength, and I will parry him and disarm him. And with a flourish, as I rip off my Navy uniform and my men do the same, push that guy aside, and I'm standing with my back to Admiral Graveslammer, announcing to his crew, "It is I, Captain Marshall Whitmore, here on your deck, and there's nothing you can do about it." And I turn around to Graveslammer and I, point my sword at his neck. "Surprised to see me, Admiral?"
He looks at you and smiles, and he's going to take his turn. And he flexes, and the rope that is tied tightly around his body breaks at several points. And he tries to just physically grab your sword hand because he has that much reach. Defy danger.
I'm gonna drop to my butt and do a back somersault.
So you're dexing out of the way?
I'm doing a reverse Willy Wonka. 11.
So you do a little gymnastics move away from him.
And as I pop to my feet, I blow my whistle.
You need to roll defy dangers for all the crew that is now fighting you and your retainers. So why don't we do 4?
We're gonna stand in our defensive position and do the wave, the octopus.
Like a round Warren.
11. 4 dice. 9. And crit fail.
For the crit fail, you take 3 damage, and for the half damage, you was 6, so you take 3 damage. So you take 6 damage total. 2 instances of 3 damage. As your men are trying to repel the sea of sailors now coming at them.
I'm gonna blast the rest of my hold and deal damage to 3. I only have 3.
You do like 6 damage, right?
Yes, I'm level 6.
So these are just sort of generic dudes. So I think in the melee, you kill 4 of his men, which he's surprised that you cut through his men. Elo Pilo, you're fighting 3 guys holding you at sword point. What do you want to do about it?
I think it's time, guys. So, in the ancient language, I command the guy in the middle to fuck, and then I'm going to look at the guy to his left.
Okay, roll your cha.
Cha.
10.
So it happens again. He looks at the guy, and the other guy slowly turns to him. Why are you looking at me?
I'm going to throw my tags on. Hold on. Doesn't block my own mind. It takes more time, so it's going to last a little bit longer. And then I'll also weave a complex order and add a second order and tell him to drop what he's holding.
Okay, so he drops his sword and turns to the man next to him and totally full body tackles him to the floor, and then just starts like a dog with his pillow, just ravenously humping this man. The other guy is looking back and forth between you and the 2 guys, and he's like, "Guys, I don't think this is the time for this. There's fighting on the deck, and this intruder's here." And he looks nervous. Warren, you're in the middle of chaos on the deck. What do you want to do?
I'm going to say it's Captain Whitmore, and I'm going to try to make him bigger again so that he's just as big as the Admiral, if not bigger.
Okay.
11.
Are you physically making him bigger?
Yeah,
Transmuting and shaping, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
to make him bigger.
So, Marshall, you grow to be 8.5 feet tall. You are now a giant of a man standing on this deck, to the point where you fuck up your defensive circle and your men scatter out and everyone has to kind of run back from you because you gained so big. But you are now looking down. You're about a head bigger than the Admiral.
Now you Listen here, Graveslammer.
Just slowly walking towards him.
You've trespassed upon my land. It's strike 2 for your empire, and strike 2 for Prince Gloomis. You are to leave now and return to him to tell him
And I get all the way up to him with my finger. It's like,
I am coming for you.
see if I can break his morale. 13.
He looks up at you and he looks around his ship. His mainsail burnt. There's like a hole in the deck. There's ice slowly melting away that was impeding his movement. And he looks at all the men fighting on the deck that are all terrified of you. He's the biggest person anyone's ever seen. So this is pretty detrimental to them. And he says, fine, get off of my ship and we will leave your cove and I will get your message to Gloomis.
And you remember who spared your life this day.
You can tell that makes him pissed, but he grits his teeth.
Say it. Say my name.
You're a pirate. You're not even a real captain. His insolence is so great. He will not submit.
You will learn one day some respect.
He asked you to get off his ship then, and he said,
This ship is mine now.
if you want to take his ship, you need to roll it. If you want him to just give you his ship,
I want to send him on his lifeboats. I'm not going to let him hang out near my cove for him to take his giant warship out so he can leave. Like, no.
all right.
Double sixes!
Fuck yes.
It's like the 5th one tonight.
He says to you, mark my words, Whitmore, I will be the one who takes your life. And he walks away from you towards the small boats and yells at some of his crew. Fighting is kind of stopped, like they have battle lines drawn, and he yells at his crew to start lowering the small boat.
Anybody loyal to Prince Gloomis, star be the plank.
He definitely takes a chunk of the crew, but there's probably too many guys. Like, the ship is huge. There's probably too many guys for everybody to be on the longboats at the same time. He takes sort of his top dudes. Totally a crew's worth of a normal ship, but not the super crew. So you're left with a bunch of Gloomis's navymen that are sort of marooned on this damaged boat now.
I'm gonna turn this into a casino.
So, Mr. Pilo, you find your way up to the deck with Captain Whitmore as he shrinks back to regular size.
Hey, Mr. Pilo, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while.
The air machine is broken.
What? I
Yeah.
barely got to use it.
And now that this is our ship, I kind of did a lot of damage to it.
It's okay, I wouldn't want to sail anything so unwieldy anyway. It's a city, not a ship. Completely impractical. I mean, we took it down.
You guys took it down with the power of friendship. You guys returned to the Cove victorious. This ship is taking on water at some points. It barely floats in the Cove anyways. It's like brushing land if it moves, and it's missing its main sheet, so it's very difficult to move it. So what is your intention?
Probably to harvest it for resources. Up my defense with the cannons, get a bunch of wood.
Yeah, okay. A shitload of wood off of it, and your defenses.
We're gonna build a second story to the mall, to the shopping mall. Put a fountain in. We got big plans.
Seems like you should be at guard. There are armed defenders at all times with a total pool of less than 100 men. That sounds about right. Like, you have guys around now, and you've gotten more cannons.
Can I look for the wreckage of the aircraft? Is that
Yeah, you
something that
want
would
to pull
float
it out of the water.
if I could.
You can pull the fucked up wreckage out of the water and take it back to Mr. Whitacombe.
We have the plans for it. We really just need the magic stone.
You can recover that and have him build another one. I guess there'd be some loot as well.
Well, Warren, Whitmore Cove and I, Captain Marshal Whitmore, thank ye for your service in the battle versus Admiral Graveslammer. Is there anything that I can do to pay ye in kind?
Just call on me when you're ready to fight the prince, and I'll be ready.
Aye, then make yourself home here. If you please, you'll always be welcome in Whitmore Cove. A wizard in a tower. Mr. Whitacombe, construct me a tower.
Don't forget to subscribe for more Crispy Cast. Like, leave a comment, and stay crispy.